If there is one thing that people struggle more than anything else, it's not training, it's the diet consistency. Most people don't fail because they don't know what to eat. They fail because their approach is not sustainable. Today I want to explain what sustainable eating strategy really means, one that supports muscle, health, energy and sanity, and why high protein, medium fat, low carbohydrate approach works long term. This is not about extremes, this is simply alignment with human physiology. For those ones who are new to my channel, I am Dr. Nash Jocic, former bodybuilding champion. I competed 46 times and won 17 titles. I've been in bodybuilding over 40 years, and during that time I have personally coached 3,500 clients and helped them to get in the best shape of their lives. I have also published 11 ebooks which are fully loaded with detailed explanation about everything that you always wanted to know about bodybuilding. Things like muscle growth, fat loss, training strategies, training systems, number of sets, number of reps, nutrition, lifestyle change, and much more. So if you're interested in expanding your knowledge and widening your horizons, please click in the link below in the comments and you can access my ebooks. What sustainable diet really means? A sustainable diet must meet 4 conditions. Number 1, you can follow it year-round. Number 2, hunger is manageable. Number 3, energy is stable. And number 4, your health improves, not deteriorates. So let me break down every single one of these conditions. So the sustainable diet is the one that actually you can follow year-round. Most of the time, most of the people go on a diet programs which are usually 2 to 3 months, sometimes a bit more, maybe 4, but then they revert back to something else, to the previous diets that actually got them in bad shape. This is the most common practice for most of the people. I've seen it countless number of times. People follow the diet for 2-3 months in order to get in shape for holiday, but then after that they don't continue for whatever reasons. They will always find the reasons to justify their failures, and they get out of shape. Then they come back to me. I put them again on some diet which lasts for a few months, but then they cannot continue again. I'm traveling, I'm busy, my wife is not at home to prepare the food, I don't know how to do it, I don't have time. I mean, these are all cheap excuses. The problem is that the diet that you follow is as such that you can follow it year-round. Now, number 2 condition is that hunger is manageable. If you are eating high carbohydrate diet, I guarantee that you will have to eat 5-6 times per day. I work with people who are coming to me asking for help, and most of them, when they ask for dietary advice, are actually on 5-6 meals per day. And they are complaining that it is very difficult for them to have that diet year-round because they're always hungry, and if they don't get something, they will have to eat something. Absolutely understandable. Hunger is going to come more often if you're on high carbohydrate diet. Simply because when you eat high carb meal, your insulin will go up, you're going to have a spike of insulin, and that insulin will white out glucose from your blood, basically bringing it down to the bottom, and this is when you're going to get hungry. So every 2 to 3 hours you will have to eat in order to sustain your energy or activities, because your glucose is down, you need something. But most of the time is going to be some kind of snacking. And again, that will ruin your diet. You will not be able to follow, and that hunger is a constant problem. Now, if we are talking about sustainable diet, this is the diet that will manage hunger easily. And that diet is the diet that actually allows you to go without food for 4, 5, 6 hours. So you're not constantly thinking about food. Your glucose is not crashing, therefore you don't have to eat every 2 to 3 hours. Also, the third condition that sustainable diet has to fulfill is that energy is stable. So your energy is not going to be stable if you eat every few hours, if you have a spike of glucose and then you have the drop of glucose. Regardless, you can eat even complex carbs, the same thing will happen. When you eat carbs day long, your insulin will have to be high in order to absorb that carbs. So it not necessarily has to have a spike, but it will be high all the time. Therefore, you will constantly be dropping that energy because of the vicious insulin cycle. You will constantly be losing energy, and therefore you will have to eat often. So this is very important and a critical condition that a sustainable diet has to fulfill. Also, the fourth condition is that health has to improve, not to deteriorate. Now, if you are eating correctly, if your diet is sustainable and you can eat that year-round for the rest of your life, basically what is happening is that you are keeping your insulin sensitivity very high. And this is the first reason why your metabolic health is going to be very good. If you reach to the point, which is usually the case with high carbohydrate diets, that you develop insulin resistance, you're going to run into big trouble, because insulin resistance is the underlying cause of all chronic diseases. High carbohydrate diets fail on hunger and energy stability. Low-calorie diets, they fail on hormones and muscle loss. While extreme diets, there are many of them, extreme diets, when you cut calories, you eat one small meal a day or similar, they fail psychologically. So you can't simply continue because the psychological pressure on you is going to be very high. Now remember, sustainability is not motivation. It is biology and behavior working together. Now let me tell you a few words about the role of protein in sustainable diet. Protein is simply non-negotiable and is not just for muscle tissue. Protein is absolutely essential for every single tissue and organs in your body. So blood, skin, nails, connective tissue, hair, muscles, and also organs like heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, they all require protein, hormones as well. So high protein diet preserves lean mass. This is the one thing that most of you are obviously interested in. Also improves satiety. When you eat protein, your satiety will last for longer because protein takes time to digest, especially if you eat enough protein per meal. So you don't have to eat 6-7 times a day. You can eat 2 or 3 times a day. Your meals have to be substantial. Your meals have to be created correctly. And therefore, you will have sustainable release of amino acids throughout the day. If you eat smaller meals with smaller amount of protein, you will have the spike of amino acids, but every time you hear that word spike, remember, spike is followed by drop. So amino acids will go up, but then it will go down. If you want to preserve muscles and also build muscles, you have to make sure that your supply of amino acids is consistent during the day without peaks and drops. And that will only happen if you eat substantial amount of protein 2 to 3 times a day. Also, protein raises the thermic effect of food, meaning that you burn a lot of energy in order to digest protein. Obviously, where the energy for metabolic processing comes from, it doesn't come from glycogen. Glycogen is only used for intense muscular contractions. So everything that happens on a metabolic level and requires energy is actually going to use that energy from body fat. Digestion of protein is very expensive. Therefore, there will be a lot of calories that body burns in order to digest protein. So again, another great benefit of high protein diet. Now, high protein diet, again, is very, very important because it stabilizes blood sugar indirectly. Stabilizes blood sugar because your insulin will not go high in presence of high protein, low carb diet. So that means that the glucose levels in the blood will be constant throughout the day. So you're never going to have, again, peaks and drops as you will have if you eat few meals with carbohydrates. So when your protein intake is high, first thing that happens is your cravings drop. Second, portion control improves naturally. When you eat high protein meal, there is no way that you're going to eat 6-7 times a day. And this is a massive benefit, not just for your muscles, not just for growth, but also for your health, because your digestive system will be more relaxed. You will be producing more growth factor because the space between the meals, the time span will be longer, and you will be burning more body fat. High protein also means that muscles are preserved while you are losing body fat, and also metabolic rate is preserved. So low protein diets always fail long term. Very important thing for all of you who are over 35, 40 to understand is that as we age, the body becomes less efficient in using protein, a phenomenon known as an anabolic resistance, which means that we actually need more and not less protein to maintain or build muscle mass. So remember that as we age, we need more protein. Also, higher intake of protein preserves lean mass, which is critical for strength, for metabolic health, and joint support as we get older. Also, protein supports satiety and blood sugar control, making it much easier to stay lean without constant hunger. Protein is, as I said, very important for maintaining and developing muscle tissue, and muscle tissue is absolutely essential because it's also protective against injury, insulin resistance, and frailty. And adequate protein is the only way to maintain this situation long term. So let me tell you a few words about the importance of fat in a sustainable diet. Fat has been demonized for decades and made as a major culprit for fat gain and all cardiovascular diseases. But this is not true. Fat is not your enemy. You should find the right amount of fat with high protein diet, which will make your diet even more sustainable. I advise a ratio of 1 to 0.5 protein to fat. So if you're eating 300 grams of protein a day, you should be eating 150 grams of fat. Now, having said that, it doesn't again mean it's a recipe for everyone. Some people may require more fat, but hardly any will require less fat. So you need that fat with protein because fat helps digest protein better and also keep satiety longer. Now, dietary fat is very important because, first of all, it supports hormone production. So you cannot produce hormones if you don't eat enough fat and cholesterol. As I mentioned in so many videos, cholesterol is absolutely essential for production of all sex hormones. Number one, testosterone, progesterone, estrogen, and many, many other tissues in the body. Actually, every cell in the body requires cholesterol. So that is the key role of dietary fat. It supports hormone production. Also, fat slows digestion, so your satiety lasts longer. And another very important thing, which is very practical, fat makes food more enjoyable. Food is tastier when there is fat in that. Also remember that extremely low-fat diets are not sustainable. They also don't work and they're not healthy, and especially for adults. When it comes to carbohydrates, they are actually the main regulator for stability of your diet and for the diet sustainability. So let me clarify this. Carbohydrates are not evil, but chronic high carbohydrate intake creates problems for many people. Lowering carbohydrates. Number one, you reduce insulin spikes. This is very important because insulin spikes also mean insulin drops. And this is a vicious cycle of insulin caused by constant eating of carbohydrates. Number two, you improve your metabolic flexibility. Number three, reduces hunger swings. As I explained earlier, when you're eating carbohydrates, you will have that glucose peak, but then glucose drop. And then you're going to get hungry, and then you have to eat again. And that is going to happen every 2-3 hours. So you may end up eating all day long, sometimes meals, sometimes snacks, whatever. Your body doesn't differentiate between meals and snacks. It's food that comes in. And if there are carbs inside, you're going to have spike and then drop of glucose. So it's absolutely a terrible condition that you can put yourself into. Also, lowering carbohydrates improves energy stability, because when you eat less carbohydrates, your energy is constant and stable. There are no peaks, but there are not drops. And this is what you want to do. Another problem is that carbohydrates raise insulin, and insulin simply holds more water. So by eating a lot of carbohydrates in your diet, you will cause water retention, which can increase your blood pressure, which is a very unhealthy thing to do. So lowering carbs also reduces water retention. Low carbs doesn't mean zero carbs. but low amount of carbs, 50 to 100 grams, depending on individuals and your physical activities, is definitely preferred rather than 2, 3, 400 grams of carbs a day. Why is this approach sustainable? A high protein, medium fat, low carbohydrate diet, they work because hunger is controlled, as I explained, energy is steady, meals are satisfying, and there is no constant rebound. So any other type of diet will get you to the position that you're going to give up. After a month, 2, 3, you're going to give up any diet and you're going to switch back to uncontrolled eating, most of the time high carbohydrate food. You can eat real food, simple meals, consistent portions, obviously 2-3 times a day, which is perfect. You're going to feel full after every meal because all the other diets will advise you to eat smaller meals. So you're never full, you're never psychologically happy, you're never fulfilled with your meals. You're constantly grazing like a bird. And this is not good. When it comes to other health benefits of sustainable diet, which is made of high protein, medium fat, and low carbohydrates, are improved insulin sensitivity. This is what you want. Insulin sensitivity is very, very important. So you want to be very insulin sensitive, meaning that you will be producing less insulin, but that insulin will be more efficient. Less insulin will deliver more efficiently amino acids and glucose to the cells because cells will be open, simply welcoming insulin to bring those nutrients into the cells. But if you are not insulin sensitive, you will be producing too much insulin, forcing the cells to close their receptors, and therefore they will be starved of glucose and amino acids. Also, the second benefit is that you improve your body composition. By eating sustainable diet, again, made of high protein, medium fat, low carbs, you will be burning body fat as the main source of energy while you will be developing muscles through your high-intensity workouts. Also, this type of diet reduces inflammation, which is very, very important. As you know, inflammation is the major cause of cardiovascular diseases, and the culprits are always carbohydrates. And if you eat too much carbohydrates in your diet, you will be causing inflammation. So this is extremely important when it comes to this type of sustainable diet. Also, sustainable diet will offer you stable mood and focus. Everybody who has switched to this type of diets that I have recommended to them, a countless number of clients around the globe, you are maybe one of them, reported after a few days an amazing clarity. They said, oh my God, I'm focusing like never before. And also the mood improved simply because they never had that glucose drop. When your glucose drops, you are going to become nervous. Anxiety is going to kick in. The only thing that will prevail in your mind will be to eat. And that is going to happen many times during the day. So sustainable diet will get rid of this problem and again offer stable mood and focus. And also there is much easier to control your weight. So easier weight maintenance is another benefit from this type of diet, and this is extremely important. So if you get into good shape, you want to stay there, you don't want to change that. But if you change your diet, if you get out of this perfectly structured diet, then you're going to go back into gaining more weight, meaning gaining more body fat. So let me wrap it up for you. A sustainable diet is not extreme, it doesn't promise miracle, and it works because it respects, first of all, human physiology, also muscle preservation, appetite regulation, and long-term adherence. Once again, what is this diet made of? High protein, moderate fat, low carbohydrate. This is not a phase. It should not last for a couple of months or 3 months for a particular event. This is a lifelong strategy for your good health and your good shape. So let me remind you once again that I have published 11 ebooks for you, which are fully loaded with detailed information about everything you always wanted to know in bodybuilding. Things like muscle growth, fat loss, training systems, training splits, strategies, number of sets, number of reps, nutrition, lifestyle change, and much, much more. So if you're interested in expanding your knowledge and getting in the best shape of your life, simply click the link below in the comments and you can access my ebooks. Also, I want you to watch this video in which I introduce and explain my other services. And this is the way that I can personally help you to get in the best shape of your life. We can work one-to-one via different options. And these are, for example, personalized training programs, personalized nutritional programs, telephone consultations, online coaching, and also for people who live in London, personal training. So if you are interested in all this, please watch this video. So guys, I hope that you have enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, send me your comments, share the video, and until the next video, I wish you all the best.